Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because, well, we are looking at something that is fundamentally reshaping the entire global economy. We are quite literally witnessing a massive cognitive leap in artificial intelligence. Generative AI is matching median human cognitive performance way faster than anyone originally expected. I mean, experts swore AI wouldn't master complex reasoning tasks like passing the bar exam until 2027, but it absolutely smashed those milestones back in 2023. Because of this, business models are evolving at breakneck speed right now, and the opportunities sitting between now and 2030 are just staggering. So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the AI wealth shift, Tier 1, the automation trap, Tier 2, the platform play, Tier 3, services as software, the human trust advantage, and finally, your next move. Let's get into it. Starting with Section 1, the AI wealth shift, moving from tools to outcomes. To really understand this shift, we need to look at the fourth industrial revolution. It's essentially forcing companies to sprint away from old, linear, product-centric models. Instead, they're shifting towards service-centric AI, plugging directly into cloud-based intelligence. So I want to pose a question to you right off the bat. Where is the real AI money hiding? Spoiler alert, it's not in selling another basic AI wrapper to teenagers online. The real wealth actually requires a massive shift in how we view business entirely. $3 trillion. That is the staggering size of the global service industry currently waiting to be disrupted by AI. That's the ultimate goal we're working toward today. Keep that massive number in the back of your mind as we dive into the entry-level tiers and work our way up the ladder. Moving on to Section 2, Tier 1, the automation trap. This is essentially the entry level of AI business. Let's define what actually lives in Tier 1. First, we have AI automation agencies. These guys essentially act as digital plumbers, connecting your different software tools so they talk to each other seamlessly. Then we have AI content licensing businesses. They replicate viral, faceless formats on places like YouTube to earn platform rewards. And finally, we have basic AI personalized shopping platforms for e-commerce. Basically, it's taking existing tasks and just layering AI on top to make them faster. To make this super concrete, let's contrast the two. In today's traditional market, businesses are just bogged down by manual data entry, human-led content creation, and clunky tools that don't communicate with each other. But in the Tier 1 future, simple AI workflows replace decades of manual administrative work. For example, an agency might look at a business where a customer has to call 5 different times just to confirm an appointment, and they'll replace that with an automated, AI-driven scheduling flow that completely removes the friction. It's night and day. But we have to talk about the reality of Tier 1. It is a completely legitimate way to make money. A successful content channel can absolutely pull in 50 grand a month in platform rewards. The catch? The barrier to entry is extremely low. You can learn these no-code tools in a matter of weeks. And because of that, the market competition is just brutal. Worse yet, if you're running an automation agency, it's essentially high-effort consulting. You have to roadmap the client's business, figure out the tools, maintain the system. You are still trading your time for money, which makes it very hard to scale. So the crucial takeaway for Tier 1 is this. The problem here is that the barrier to entry is extremely low. It's a fantastic sandbox to learn the technology, don't get me wrong, but your margins are capped because you're still selling your time. Let's level up to Section 3, Tier 2, the platform play. Welcome to the software as a service, red ocean. So what happens when you realize your time is capped and you decide to stop selling hours and start selling a monthly software subscription instead? Well, in Tier 2, we're talking about SaaS. Think of AI personal education businesses acting as 24/7 private tutors right in your pocket, adapting to your exact learning style. Or AI healthcare platforms offering structured wellness tracking without the overwhelming complexity. We are also talking about heavy hitters here, like AI cybersecurity services providing continuous background auditing and automated threat defense for huge enterprises. Take the AI cybersecurity market as a prime example of the sheer demand at this tier. Valued at $19.2 billion in 2024, it's projected to skyrocket to $64.5 billion by 2030. AI threat response is no longer just a nice-to-have luxury. It is a mandatory defense mechanism, because these tools are reducing critical threat response times by over 50%. The value proposition here is a massive leap over Tier 1. Instead of one-size-fits-all schooling, an AI education platform can explain code to you line by line, generate custom flashcards, and adapt to a student's exact learning pace. In healthcare, instead of generic wellness advice, AI is accelerating treatments by analyzing your specific DNA to figure out exactly which medications will work for you. This kind of pharmacogenomics is reducing drug complications by an incredible 26%. It solves everyday frustrations at a deeply individual level. But just like Tier 1, Tier 2 definitely has a dark side. The technical barriers are higher, sure, but thanks to the ability to code using just plain English prompts, almost anyone can create a software product now. That means you're entering a red ocean, a market so swarming with identical competitors, it's like a crowded public pool on a hot summer day. Plus, traditional SaaS margins used to sit comfortably around 90%. Now, they're compressing closer to 60% because every single time a user prompts your software, you have to pay those high compute and AI token costs. Which brings us to our key takeaway for Tier 2. Instead of selling time, you're selling a tool. You've successfully escaped the time trap and the markets are massive, but this space is like a complete red ocean today. To survive here, you have to find an incredibly specific, highly defensible niche. Now for the really exciting stuff. Section 4, Tier 3, Services as Software. Selling outcomes, not tools. This right here is the paradigm shift. This is where the entire game changes and where that $3 trillion of real wealth is generated. Tier 3 businesses include AI virtual employee companies, AI robotics as a service, and AI digital twin consulting, which basically creates a perfect virtual simulation of a physical business so you can safely test out highly complex decisions. Notice the difference in language here. You are no longer selling a tool that someone has to log into and learn how to use. You are delivering actual completed outcomes. AI agentic workflows do the actual labor, and humans simply supervise. Compare this to the old models for a second. In Tier 2, you might sell a company a recruitment dashboard. In Tier 3, you just sell them a hired employee. Done. Instead of selling a static piece of hardware, you sell a robotic lawnmower that autonomously adjusts its schedule based on live weather reports and yard usage. Instead of selling billing software, you hand the client a fully resolved insurance claim. You're simply handing them the finished result. And because you're delivering the final work product, you tap directly into that $3 trillion service market. Now, the barriers to entry here are incredibly high. It requires deep operational knowledge and a very complex agentic AI architecture. But look at the earnings. Because AI handles 25 to 50% of the actual execution without any human intervention, profit margins in the service sector are scaling massively, jumping from a traditional 20% all the way up to 75%. Just imagine taking your current business profit margin and nearly tripling it simply by removing the human execution bottleneck. So, the crucial point of this entire explainer, the big takeaway, is right here. You stop selling access to software, and you start selling outcomes. The companies that will dominate this next decade are the ones that realize people don't want tools. They want transformation and completed work. Which leads us to Section 5, the Human Trust Advantage. Chief AI Officers and Governance. Here's a thought. If every smart company out there eventually gains access to these amazing agentic AI capabilities, how do you stand out? What is your uncopyable element? Well, the answer is human trust. This is exactly why we're seeing the rise of a brand new executive role, the Chief AI Officer, or CAIO. Executive leadership must identify the right high-value workflows to automate, but more importantly, they have to build governance to ensure human trust. The CAIO oversees automated red teaming, which is essentially hacking their own systems to find flaws, along with robust deepfake detection. Because if you're delivering services as software for critical, highly sensitive business functions, your clients have to trust you implicitly. Reputation becomes your ultimate competitive advantage. Finally, Section 6, your next move. Capitalizing on 2026. As we look toward 2026 and beyond, the landscape is becoming incredibly clear. Technology will only become cheaper, faster, and universally accessible. Literally anyone will be able to copy your software, but they absolutely cannot copy your reputation, your deep understanding of a specific industry's workflows, or the trust you build while reliably delivering these AI-powered outcomes. So I want to leave you with this final provocative question. Will you settle for selling basic tools in a red ocean, or will you build the trust required to sell outcomes in the $3 trillion AI service economy? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.